A bipartisan group of lawmakers is setting a new deadline for the Trump administration to update them on the release of more Jeffrey Epstein files.
Last month, President Trump signed the law requiring the Justice Department to release all unclassified records related to Epstein. That bill received overwhelming support in Congress. That happened, but now we are getting never-before-seen pictures and video of Epstein's private Caribbean island. The images and video were recorded back in 2020. House Democrats obtained these images from law enforcement authorities in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and it is that committee that released them earlier today.
NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor is on Capitol Hill tracking this one. Sahil, first, walk us through these new images. What are they both revealing, but also explain where they came from?
Yeah, Clay, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee just released these images and videos from Jeffrey Epstein's private island that are believed to be from 2020.
So you know how Trump promised to drain the swamp and deliver justice? Yeah, about that, his own attorney general just got absolutely demolished trying to cover up the Epstein files, and the whole thing is blowing up in his face right now.
There is new bipartisan frustration in Congress after the Justice Department sent a list of, quote, politically exposed persons in the millions of files related to its probes of Jeffrey Epstein. That list includes many prominent figures who appear in the files without any context, like Janis Joplin and Pope John Paul II. No one name besides Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell has ever been charged in connection with Epstein's crimes. Several lawmakers argue the Justice Department is intentionally muddying the waters on who was a predator versus someone simply mentioned in an email or perhaps an article.
Billionaire Tom Pritzker is stepping down as executive chairman of Hyatt Hotels over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, saying he regrets his association with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Meanwhile, the Justice Department sent a weekend letter to Congress listing hundreds of prominent people listed in the Epstein files. But there's a but, and it's a big one. Being mentioned doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Here is what's actually happening right now. Bondi, Donald Trump's handpicked attorney general, is getting hammered in court over the Jeffrey Epstein files. This isn't a small legal issue. Federal judges are pushing back. Congress is questioning her actions. And the Justice Department is being accused of protecting powerful people instead of delivering justice for victims. The situation looks especially bad because the same administration that promised law and order and vowed to expose alike criminals is now fighting in court to keep those very files hidden. And so far, their legal strategy isn't working. Back in December, lawmakers from both parties reminded Bondi about the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a law that requires the government to release documents related to the case. They made it clear that political embarrassment is not a legal reason to hide evidence. But instead of releasing everything, the Justice Department delayed the process, heavily redacted documents and stalled for months. When some more documents were finally released in early 2026, the rollout turned into a disaster. Large portions of the files were blacked out, hidden names and key details about people connected to Epstein trafficking network. Even worse, while protecting powerful figures, the Justice Department reportedly exposed private information belonging to Epstein's victims, something the law was supposed to prevent. This triggered outrage in Congress. Lawmakers demanded answers. Legal experts criticized the handling of the case, and federal judges began rejecting the DOJ's delay traffic. Court rulings started forcing the department to release more records than it wanted. All of this puts Trump in a different position. He built this political image around being tough on crime and exposing corruption. But now his own Justice Department is being accused of hiding evidence. It is one of the biggest sex trafficking scandals in modern history. Every new court hearing and every new document released keeps the Epstein's story in the spotlight. The legal pressure is growing. Judges are demanding more transparency. Congress is continuing investigations, and advocacy groups are calling for accountability.